This summer, Instacart presents famous summer flavors coming to your front door. Or pool. Or hotel.
Your grocery delivery has arrived, sir.
That was faster than room service.
No violins in the lobby.
Oh, seriously? Anyway, sit back, relax, and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Starring your favorite snacks, drinks, and more. Download Instacart for free delivery on your first 3 orders. Rated H for hungry audiences. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum $10 per order. Excludes restaurants. Additional terms and fees apply.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Hello there and welcome back to another enchanting episode of This Song Is Yours. I'm your host Simon Fink and today we have an absolutely mesmerising guest for you. I'm really excited about this one. Joining us is the Grammy Award-winning songwriter Arooj Aftab. Arooj Aftab, the Pakistani-American genre-crossing songwriter, is set to release her 5th studio record later this week, which is titled Night Rain. This spellbinding new album delves into the emotions and events that unfold during the nocturnal hours, offering a lush and evocative sonic experience. While Arooj was in Australia for Womadelaide in March, we were fortunate enough to sit down with her and discuss this stunning new record. In today's episode, we explore the duality of Night Rain with its rich, immersive soundscapes and profound lyricism. We'll also talk about the impact of her Grammy win for her previous record, Vulture Prince, and how it influenced the creation of Night Rain. Additionally, we're going to get insights into her current live show and hear about her ongoing tour. Now, we want to say a massive thank you to Cassandra, Tom and Austin for their invaluable help in making today's episode happen. And don't forget, for all the details on Arooj Aftab and more about our very podcast, This Song Is Yours, be sure to check out today's show notes. So we're not going to delay this one any longer. Here is our conversation with Arooj Aftab.
We'll fade into the night.
Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Arooj Aftab. Hello. How are you going?
Good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today and chatting with us. As we just kind of discussed a second ago, we are in Adelaide at the moment. You are here on an Australian tour at the moment. Mm-hmm. Firstly, how is the Australian tour going? How have these shows been?
They've been great. They've been really... I've been having a really nice time. Sydney was great, Melbourne was great. The first day of WOMAD Adelaide was yesterday. That was also wonderful. Just beautiful. People here are like very expressive. Usually after a show, I feel like fans will like repost their clips of the concert to Instagram and like tag me or put emojis. But like I'm seeing all across the way that like people are really describing how they felt. So they're very expressive. And very good with words in a way. So that's been really nice to see. It's nice to just interact with the crowds and stuff. And yeah.
Of course. I think that there's been, from what I've seen personally and some friends who went to WOMAD, there has been a lot of love and expression towards yourself. People seem to be resonating with your music in a really big way, which is lovely, I imagine.
Yeah, and it's a little surprising because... You know, I have never been here before to perform, and Vulture Prince, it's been a few years since it's been out, and they're like fully coming through. Like good on numbers, good on energy. They're good on the excitement for the music. I'm really impressed and happy.
That's awesome to hear. It is like as we've kind of discussed, it is. Something that does seem to be really clicking with people. For you, when I guess it was announced that you were coming down to Australia, what were the expectations? What were you kind of thinking of? Did any musician friends kind of give you the heads up or any tips or tricks on what's going on in Australia in terms of music and touring?
No, I don't know. I think, the Australia-New Zealand tour was kind of, we've been working on it for a while, and then it just was a matter of timing. It should have happened a year or two ago. whatever, you know what I mean? It was meant to happen now, and so that's what's happening. But in the meantime, I've been seeing everybody, Moore Mother, Cecile McLaurin Savant, Amanda Palmer, like all the music, all the musician friends of mine, and I try not to use the word fraternity, but the music community. They've all come through Australia. Like I almost feel like in December, lots of people were passing through, and so I've just been kind of seeing that, and have been excited about my turn.
I can very much appreciate that. I feel like we have been very spoilt for musicians and artists visiting us lately. It is really exciting. I know that you and I are talking in March at Womadelaide, as you said. When this episode does come out, there is going to be a brand new record from yourself. Mm-hmm. It is called Night Rains. Firstly, congratulations on this record. I was very lucky enough to be sent a copy only a few days ago, and have been sitting with it for a few days. I can see myself, and not simply saying this to be hyperbolical because you're here in front of me, I can see myself sitting with this record for a while longer, because this is a stunning record. So firstly, congratulations on this album.
Thank you so much.
No, of course. I guess, how are you feeling with brand new music coming out and with a new record being put into the world? Are you someone who is nervous with each record release?
I am really excited. I mean, the nervousness, I don't think that it is there as much as the excitement of getting the new music out. Mm-hmm. And then, because it's kind of like a cleanse, you evolve your emotional feelings, and then you put them down into music, you figure out that whole expression. That's the part that makes me nervous, because sometimes I'm like, I'm moving towards writing a new group of songs, but what do I have to say, or have I processed already what is already being said, and so that middle place for an artist, I think, is the scary one, where, you want to showcase growth, but you're not sure if growth happened or whatever, like that weird, complex, very personal moment before the writing begins, and then I'm excited for Night Rain to come out. I'm excited for new music out. Vulture Prince came out almost 2.5 years ago, so I'm really excited to play new music and to move on from the emotional, themes of Vulture Prince, which were very sad, which was about grief, which was leaning into a lot of minimalism musically for me, and which was also kind of a lot of traditional. Pulling from the root, pulling from the core, which is a lot of the ancestors, the traditional music, some Sufi music, some Sufi poetry, and semi-classical styles of South Asian and Pakistani music that I put into my world, and I am done doing that. I liked that. I liked that I was able to do that with Vulture Prince, but Night Rain is very different, and it's very evolved. Not very evolved, but it's just that it shows that time has passed, and
it's the next evolution for yourself.
The next evolution. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited. It's like I've been apologizing to the audiences, being like, I'm sorry about this really sad, lamenty record that we keep like pulling you guys through. Like I promise that Night Rain concerts will be more fun, but they've been having fun anyway.
People are still loving it. As we said before, it seems like it's really connecting. Very quickly, I do want to touch on Vulture Prince, because it, I imagine quite a number of people know how successful it was for yourself. There was a Grammy win, congratulations.
Thank you.
There was an additional Grammy nom as well, congratulations on that. And that album just seemed to do so well for yourself in terms of really getting your music out there and people connecting with it. Did that play any kind of part in how you created this new music? Was there, I know we spoke about nerves, was there any anxiety or pressure in terms of, part of my language, like, holy shit, we've just done all of this, we've won a Grammy, what do we do next? Did that ever kind of come into your mind when you're creating or composing?
Yeah, it definitely comes into the mind just naturally, because that is something that people are saying to you, that's maybe something that your team or your label is saying to you, that's just also the general, you set the bar so high for yourself, and then you're a little bit like, oh, I have to go higher. But then, you let that feeling sit for a while, and then it passes, because at the end of the day, you're just going to make something that is, I'm just writing music because I have to, It's like life, it's like my lifeline. So it's not really for anything. And then in trying to be that honest and have that type of integrity with myself, naturally the music does what it has to do, because naturally time has passed, and naturally I've grown. Like off the success of Vulture Prince, many things also helped me grow, as an artist and as a composer and as a lyricist, even just more confidence, and more friends in the industry who are like playing on the record. So it happens organically. I think if you allow it to freak you out, then that's bad. But if you just let it go, it actually goes away. And I mean, like, yeah, the idea of the next record beating the one before is weird. Is it doing that? I don't know. Is it showing like a bit? Is it showing that this artist had a successful record and then now her follow up is 3 years later? I think so, right?
Look, in terms of as you just said, there's an element of you can't release music thinking that it's going to beat the next one or the previous one, whatever it may be. There is definitely, as discussed, an evolution on this, where I think that this will once again take you to a whole new level of people reaching your music and understanding and connecting with your music.
Yeah, and as like fans of music ourselves, right? As having people that we love who are artists, like you'd be like, yeah, I loved that person's like 2006 record more than their 2013 record or whatever.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the records are really just showcasing the emotional place that the artist was in at the time, and I love that so much more than whether one is good, one is better than the other. It's kind of just their history or their archive, and so. Yeah, there will be people who would be like, no, I really like the long note, like minimalist, sad Vulture Prince, and then some people will be like really digging Night Rain for what it is. So I'm excited for that to happen for me as well,
100%. Night Rain does seem to have this beautiful kind of, I don't want to say it's a concept, because I feel like that word gets thrown around and people think concept record. It is not that, so I have to be very clear. I feel that it's got this maybe overarching theme of nighttime and how, and from what I've read and what I've been told and listening to it, that it kind of looks at the duality of how night is both at times and at different places the most peaceful place and the most alive and buzzing place. And it, in the sonic sense of the record, it seems to kind of capture that in a really magical way, in a really smart way. For you, what was it that I guess kind of triggered that thought of trying to tackle that theme?
I can't place it exactly, right? But the lead single, Raat Ki Rani, was the sort of initial foray into it, which was inspired by, like a garden party in Karachi. Which is a garden party. I feel like you guys understand that more in this sort of post-colonial type of like setting that people have these like lawns, which are not just like a small piece of grass that is a backyard, especially in Lahore, which is like such a city of gardens. There's a lot of greenery and people like to throw parties in their garden, and there's flowers and stuff, and so I was there, and then that's kind of what inspired the first thought of it, of how beautiful the night can be, and with the fragrance of this particular flower, which is like a night blooming jasmine, and it's called Raat Ki Rani, which is queen of the night, and meeting those people and being in Karachi, which is not where I grew up or have spent any time at all. I think I've been there a total of like 8 days in my life, and so almost like feeling kind of exotic. We should not say that. That's stupid. Like Karachi in that way, in that setting, kind of felt very inspiring and new to me, even though it's like quote unquote where I'm from. But that city felt like the setting of the garden hang in another place that felt alien, but at the same time very home. So that was also deeply. You just need a few of those things to line up in that way for my brain to start like buzzing. So that was the first iteration. That was the first inspiration for the record being about the night.
That's incredible. I was wondering if there's some incredible tracks on here, and it's always such a silly question to ask an artist, what's your favourite track on the record? So we're not going to do that. Is there one that, is there a track that you're most proud of on this record, or that you're hoping kind of resonates with people more, not more so, but is there one that you're really proud of, I guess?
I like them all. It's true. It's hard to pick a favorite. I do like Raat Ki Rani. I also do like the opening track, Aaye Nahi. I think that one is kind of the one that has the most musical storytelling, and it's kind of written out in this intricate way. It has like kind of 3 or 4 musical sections or movements or whatever. So I actually really like that from a like nerdy perspective. Raat Ki Rani is cool. I like that it has auto-tune on the vocal, which you never do before. There's a lot of little things that I've done that I haven't done before that I've always wanted to. Like there's like doubled vocals and there's a lot more harmonizing than usual, or than at all, because I tend to not want to harmonize with myself. I've found that it's a little... I haven't found the right way to do it, where it's not cheesy. So there's a lot of like little steps that feel exciting to me that I've been wanting to take throughout the record. I really like the use of this, like the use of Tima, not the use of Tima, but Tima playing this like very 90s riffs on the Juno in Whiskey, and Whiskey itself, being this song that I wrote about this kind of nighttime energy of like being out and being, kind of sauced and trying to get home, like that to me is something that I don't know that I would have found in other people's poetry, and then to write it myself and to make a song out of it and to be bold to do that too in certain ways is exciting to me. So maybe I think those are my faves.
Of course.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it simply just because you've said it. I can show you the notes for those people listening that we do have some notes here. Whiskey was the track that I kind of found myself resonating with, only because it is a gorgeous track. Again, the whole record's incredible. But Whiskey seems to have this really light and very like atmospheric production, and then the lyrical content, it does seem to not necessarily be darker, but hint at something a little bit more darker. I was wondering whether, you could, I guess, go a little bit further into the inspiration or even in the studio, the creation of that track, how you kind of mix those two juxtaposed
them to...
Thank you. Yes.
I don't know. I had Whiskey. I wrote something of that in college, and then I kind of went digging for it in the Night Rain writing situation, right? You're like, what are the new songs? And then do I have other songs, And then I thought of Whiskey and I was like, where is it though? Found some janky MP3, like finally from God knows where, had to like message a friend and be like, can you search your Gmail? Because I remember I sent it to you and then found it and then put it on, because I had just remembered the first line, and then when I listened to it, I was like, and I was hoping that the rest of the song was just there. Played it, the rest of the song's awful, It's like, great, so we just only have the first line. Came up with that really light guitar riff, asked Tima to come and like play the Juno and see how that would sound. Really liked that, moved on from there. Created that second part, which is We'll Fade Into the Night, which is like probably the most common lyric I think in songs ever, like we'll fade into the night. And I was like, oh my God, we're doing it, aren't we? We're going to use this lyric. We're going to say it. But it's also then I pulled from this Rumi lyric, this Rumi translation of one of his poems, which I've always liked, which is, I'm drunk and you're insane, how are we going to get home? So I kind of pieced all the things together in that way. And it fit, and it sounds like what it sounds like, and I think it's gonna evolve on tour for sure. Mm-hmm. When you start playing the things live, but the recorded version it's cool. Yeah. It's really dreamy. Like its B section is really like as if we are super lost and kind of in that swirl, you know. People think it's about whiskey or about drinking whiskey, but it's really about this relationship that you're having with either a friend or someone that you care about, and, you know, that now you have to get home. You know, it's kind of also like about sometimes at night you go to a social thing that you were supposed to go to and it was meant to be fun, but you're not having fun. You know, so the dark thing, it's not essentially dark, but it's kind of hinting at kind of like the protagonist not feeling like they don't really want to be there, like in the beginning of the song, like, and then kind of also enjoying the company of this person. So I think it's a complex song, you know, and I'm proud of it.
And as you should be, it seems to hold all those pieces together and take the listener on a journey, which is, I realise, a little cliche to say, but it is very true. It seems to kind of do just a beautiful job of mixing those two things of what you said. So thank you for indulging me on that.
Of course, yeah.
For you, that original love of kind of composing, making songs, writing lyrics, finding poetry, where did that come from in terms of, you approaching songwriting when you first started out?
I felt that it's not in a conceited way, but I felt that the songs that certain music that I was listening to, like even when I was 15, I was like, I felt like I wanted to make my own music and it would be different, and that was exciting to me. Instead of just listening to the music that was on the radio or whatever my favorites were, like there was something extra in my mind that was like, I like this, but I want to do it too, and I think I'd like to like fuck around, you know, like with that. And so that makes you more than a listener, that feeling of wanting to change their compositions and stuff, you know, or add or subtract, or even, you know, in a crass way say, oh, I want to do it better, you know. And so that's kind of where I feel like that's the inkling of songwriting, right? That's the first itch. And so it just all came together really, really organically. I love sound, you know. I love the different juxtapositions of different instruments. Kind of sometimes even like the ones that we're not supposed to put together. Like there's so many rules with frequencies and tone and like tonality and microphone stuff, which I also studied. So having that knowledge about, you know, the kind of sonic world of music also helped me have the tools to think in a deeper way about instrumentation and what goes together and what doesn't, and just how to create music that's exciting and not already out there, you know, or how do you move the needle forward in a way. So I don't know, it's just always been, I've always felt that I want to do it.
When you, just a second ago when you said the music you were listening to as a teenager, do you remember what was it that you were kind of into at that time?
So much stuff. Just like, I was like, you know, and I feel like this is true of many artists. We were like a vacuum cleaner, you know, not a vacuum where there's like, not a void, but like a, what's it called? Like there's like a voraciousness to wanting to listen to everything. You're like hungry for this thing. You're like obsessed with it, you know. We're on the spectrum. You know?
We spoke to an artist the other day who referred to it as like a sponge almost.
No, and it was just like you're just like, I was obsessed with music, and a lot of us in the 90s were like, not even people who were even people who ended up not being musicians. You had your Discman or whatever, and music got a lot of us through a lot of stuff, you know, at like our angsty teen years. But I for sure was trying to absorb as much of it as possible. So from like, you know, Swedish death metal to like Hindustani classical stuff to like, I don't know, like American folk and jazz and just like all the things, you know, everything I could get my hands on.
Yeah, of course. With that kind of in mind, we just hinted before at, I guess, a live version of Whiskey for Night Rains, and when it does come out, it will be out by the time this episode airs. Is there, I guess, how is that going to change the live show that you've currently got going? Is there going to be a dramatic turn in I guess, what instrumentation is live on stage? Are you looking forward to being able to, change up the arrangements for some of these tracks?
Yeah, so with this record, usually I end up doing everything myself, and also really getting my collaborators we all kind of pitch in, and we arrange the songs for live. And I feel like this year I don't want to put that pressure on myself and on the bandmates. And so one of my collaborators, Petros Klampanis, who is playing bass tonight as well, and he's like a main squeeze, you know. I was like, Petros, please, you are the music director. Please tell me yes, and please handle this. And so he's doing a lot of work on transcribing everything, and we're working closely to figure out what the live set is going to look like and who's going to play. But you know, it's just crazy, right? And like everybody is an A-class musician in their own right, and everybody has so many different projects going on. Like these guys are not my band, you know. Like they're like serious solo artists too. So we're just working around schedules and seeing how to do it. I'm not worried about it. I think that, of course, as always, when you're actually truly playing an album live and you don't have like tracks going in the back, it's going to sound different. It sounds different with it. The same thing happened with Vulture Prince, you know. And it's going to sound good. I mean, I'm bringing on a drummer, which I usually don't like to do. Because like as soon as you have like a snare and hi-hats, it's just like a shitty rock fucking thing, you know. And then if you bring on a percussion player, you're just like jungle world musicking out, you know. And so I'm trying to find somewhere in the middle where that doesn't happen. I'm very particular about that. I hate that. I hate those both extremes, you know. So we're working on it. Thanks for asking. The one thing that does stress me out is definitely in this moment is the arrangement of the live show. But I feel like it's gonna be fine. We're so good live. It's gonna be a fucking blast. I'm not worried. It's just we have to get through it. Yeah.
Of course, we'll look in whatever capacity and whatever shape it kind of does come to. Very looking forward to seeing that, and hopefully seeing you back in Australia if that does happen around that new album. We would usually ask, I guess, what they're currently listening to. Is there anything at the moment that's on high rotation for yourself?
Yeah, I've been listening to Victoria Monet's album Jaguar 2, and I've been listening to Usher's new album. He has this song called Big, and it's really funny. It's like, he's like, when I was a little kid, I would go to the McDonald's and I would never get a small. I'd order the large because I like it big. It's like amazing. It's so stupid.
I feel like if there's one person you can count on for the stupidest kind of pop, it is Usher, and how he does that.
So good. He's so good. I was so stoked for his comeback, and I was like, please God, I really hope it's not some trash thing, you know. But it's great, and like Victoria's album is really great. It's nice to listen. It's a great thing to be doing, and I also really love Fountain Baby by Amare.
Great record.
These are the ones that I've got going on.
Yeah. No, look, thank you very much for sharing those with us, and thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast.
Cheers. Thanks.
You've worked hard to build your brand, so why settle for one-size-fits-all branded clothing? Lands' End Outfitters creates apparel your employees will truly want to wear, all backed by above-and-beyond expertise. See why Lands' End Outfitters has been a branded apparel supplier to some of the world's most respected brands for more than 30 years. Go to business.landsend.com/pod20 and use code POD20 for 20% off your first product. That's business.landsend.com/pod20, code POD20 for 20% off your first product.